There are a few things to know about innovative economy. Let's talk about it and let's show how to get there. Welcome to the Worldwebforum Talkshow. Hi, I'm Fabian, and we are very excited to get started. Today, we learn why by the year 2025, the richest people in the world are under 30. To find that out, we have 4 guests. Peter Frühe, Mark Dittli, Sam Rosenblum, and last but not least, Dominique Dillier. Welcome. Because I need help to do that, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Justine, the Chinese who grew up on the beaches of Australia, and Andy, the professor. Hi, Peter. How are you?
I'm fine. With all the snow in Switzerland, I'm great. I like skiing, so I'm on the happy side.
Peter Frühe is managing partner of Frühe & Partner, a subsidiary of Vermögenszentrum, the biggest independent asset manager in Switzerland, specializing in investment.
So I know that you manage some of the wealthier Swiss individuals and families around. What kind of recommendations do you give to them regarding cryptocurrency and Bitcoin?
From inflation protection point of view and as a diversification, cryptocurrencies would make sense as the amount of Bitcoins is limited. But our client's main target is capital preservation. And so we, as a conservative consultant, we still prefer as an inflation hedge and a system hedge, the good old gold.
I have read in the newspaper that also the Swiss National Bank is exercising and exploring with the Swiss stablecoin. They want to provide their own blockchain technology. Is this just for knowing the technology, or is this serious purpose behind, and the central bank as well tries to enter into these new technologies?
I think it's a combination. They want to feel the market and they see that something is going on there. The innovation is there. Crypto technology is a great idea.
Absolutely. Have fun skiing. I'm sure you're going tomorrow.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So let's ask a guy who also knows this topic in depth. Please welcome Mark Dittli.
Mark Dittli is a seasoned financial journalist and founding partner of The Market, a financial media platform that gives daily analysis and actionable ideas on global financial markets.
I didn't ask you if you yourself have invested into Bitcoin. Did you?
No, I have not.
Okay, that's interesting. So why not?
To be honest, I'm waiting for the pullback to buy.
Okay, so you're ready, steady to go?
Yep.
Understood, okay.
And what level are you waiting for to get in?
To be honest, I don't have a fixed level, but I think there was a bit of a bubbly move in the past few weeks when we crossed north of 40,000. We came down to 30-ish thousand now. So, in the low 20s, I'll probably buy.
But with NZZ, they called Bitcoin actually like a currency for criminals, and there's also been a derivative bomb sort of article in The Market published last week. Is that your view also?
No, it's not my view. Well, the idea that Bitcoin was the currency of criminals, that was for many years was kind of out there, but I don't think that's the case anymore. Of course, it is still used also for illegitimate purposes, just like cash is. But Bitcoin last year truly became an asset or an asset class.
How will they use that share? Is it really just for speculation and trading purposes, or can they store it and develop a crypto exchange in the future that is usable?
I think the idea is if you invest 1% of your asset allocation into Bitcoin, there is hardly anything you can lose, but you've acquired an option if really there is a move into this new store of value asset out there. Last fall, when people asked me about it, I used to call it, use it as a schmuck insurance, i.e., I have no idea where the fair price of Bitcoin is, but invest a tiny share of your asset allocation, 1%, maybe 2% into Bitcoin, then you are in it with 1 foot and you can be happy if price increases, but you don't lose your sleep over the volatility if it's kind of in 1% of your portfolio.
And do you see differences in the risk appetite between different cultures or different generations of how much of their asset percentage they'd want to invest into cryptocurrency?
That's a good question. I haven't seen anything empirical about it yet, but sort of the general idea is probably the baby boom generations, they're still comfortable with gold, while the millennials, why should they care about gold? So with the millennials, it's all about Bitcoin.
Thank you very much, Mark. So now let's teleport to the city I love most, San Francisco. Please welcome Sam Rosenblum from Polychain.
Sam Rosenblum is a partner at Polychain Capital, where he focuses on business development and investor relations. Prior to joining Polychain, Sam was an early employee and director of business development at Coinbase, the largest crypto exchange in the United States. During his 5-year tenure at Coinbase, he led initiatives spanning international expansion, corporate development and M&A, investor relations, strategic partnerships, and special projects.
You know, we had some recommendations from a banker, from this journalist, how if you invest into crypto, how much portion that will make. What is your personal recommendation, or how much portion is crypto in your portfolio?
Yeah, well, certainly I don't want to give anyone a recommendation of what their portfolio should look like. Mine is very highly concentrated in the crypto sector between Coinbase, Polychain, and crypto asset holdings directly. So I don't know if I'm the best person to model your own portfolio after if you're into taking a little bit less risk. But for me, something like 90% of my liquid net worth is in crypto. And you're looking at my illiquid net worth, of course, the vast majority of that is in Coinbase stock. Yeah. Certainly for institutional allocators, I would not suspect that they will be 90% invested into crypto anytime soon. But I do think, certainly to your point, the 1%, I think at this point is kind of like table stakes. At this point, if you're allocating people's money and you don't have some crypto exposure, I think ultimately that's doing your client a disservice. So I think 1% is a good place to start. It forces you to actually pay attention and learn a little bit about the space. And from there, I would suppose most people will opt to actually increase their exposure over the next couple of years. It just very much was this light bulb moment of understanding how clunky the legacy system is. And I mean, when it comes to something like Visa, even understanding at the time for the first time that Visa was not able to actually move money at all, simply just a messaging system between banks. Why shouldn't there be a borderless global network that actually moves the money along with the message?
How would you explain to a completely unknown person, someone who never ever heard about blockchain and about cryptocurrency, what is it all about and why it is so important?
Is blockchain making reference more directly to ultimately a database structure? So how new information is being added to that database structure is generally where you get into the arena of crypto, broadly speaking. When people use the term crypto, they tend to be referring to crypto economics being ultimately the thing that power that network. So it's a set of rules that make up the protocol that people are agreeing to abide by. And the reason that they abide by those rules tends to be these crypto economic incentives. The other thing that you could allude to by using the term crypto is just the cryptographic guarantees. The information added to these blockchains is valid and accurate. And ultimately, for something like Bitcoin, you know, after a certain number of minutes or a certain number of blocks, that the information in that database will never be removed from the database.
So it's a decentralization of the power somehow, isn't it?
Yeah, really the essence of the breakthrough of Bitcoin and now this entire sector really boils down to the concept of decentralized consensus.
Mm-hmm. So what is about this new technology? We're talking about these protocols 20 years from now. Do we have to expect that the biggest company will be blockchain based?
Oh, absolutely. The turning point that we're at today is nothing in history has had the scale that a technology platform or company can have today. Most networks that have existed historically have been bound geographically. And to have a platform built on top of a global infrastructure like the internet, you have the ability to reach far more people. Now, when you kind of turn this corner into crypto, you now for the first time, not only do you have these global protocols, which ultimately are built as incremental layers on top of the internet protocols that we all use today. These incremental layers not only bring with them the global reach, but they're also financially incentivized protocols. So open source historically, the protocols that Google and Facebook have built on top of, there was no way to have direct financial incentives to being early to using or helping to build those protocols. And so some of the people that helped build TCP/IP or HTTP, the value that they've added to the world, like these people should be certainly billionaires, if not trillionaires. And of course, there was no way to capture that value accrual, even though the value creation was so tremendous. In crypto, that's completely turned around. And now from day one, you have a way to accrue value that you're helping to create. So if you're going to be a software developer helping make Bitcoin more useful or helping make Ethereum wider reaching developer platform, one of the things that I would encourage if you're going to spend your time on it is you should probably also buy some Bitcoin or buy some Ether. And ultimately, you now have an ownership stake in the protocol that you're helping to make more accessible or more useful. Now, I think it's a perfect storm of these influences of the open source community being financially incentivized. In my opinion, if you're a talented software engineer, it doesn't make sense to be building anywhere else but this space right now. So I think the size and scale and reach of the businesses being built on top of these protocols over the next couple of years are just going to be massive. And certainly I think 10 years from now, the largest valued entity in the world will be a crypto network as opposed to an individual business or any other type of protocol, because ultimately these ones have those unique advantages.
Yeah, so I think we're pretty happy to know you and Olaf, because you guys will be the richest persons in the world in 10 years from now. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thanks for having me. It was really fun.
As you might know, the World Web Forum was founded as a Atlassian user group in 2006. From scratch, music was our inspiration. We always wanted to feel the whole event like a rock concert. Meanwhile, at the World Web Forum, we had them all. Rock stars like Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, Bill Wyman from the Rolling Stones, and also Lars Ulrich from Metallica. The next person, the next guest that we introduce is a music journalist, and he was the guy who did the interview on stage at the World Web Forum with Lars Ulrich. Please welcome Dominique Delier.
Dominique Delier is a top music journalist at Swiss station SRF, famously known for his shows Rock Special and Soundtrack of My Life. He has interviewed many great artists such as David Grohl of Foo Fighters, Lars Ulrich of Metallica, and Angus Young of AC/DC.
Good afternoon.
I just have a short question. You know that we had several discussions about investing into Bitcoin and if this has a future or not. Do you have Bitcoins?
No, I don't. I have gold. I just invested in gold in last March. So that's actually all my investments are in gold at the moment.
We also did discuss about the generation conflict or the differences with the generation. And we have another co-host, and she's from the young generation. Please welcome Sharon. Yo, Sharon, welcome.
Yes. Hi, welcome.
On our little club. We've just discussed and we're wondering if you have invested into Bitcoin.
Actually, I don't. It's a huge topic with all my friends right now because I think almost everyone did invest in Bitcoin. I'm one of the few who hasn't invested in Bitcoin yet.
Yeah, you're unlucky. The
I
young
know,
generation
I
woman.
know.
Okay.
So yeah, as Fabian has already mentioned, the World Web Forum gets a lot of inspiration out of music, and we integrate a lot of artists as well.
I have the pleasure to talk to Dave Grohl in next week on Zoom.
That sounds amazing.
As usual.
And yeah, as you just mentioned, David Grohl, I mean, he has a huge legacy, and I mean, basically we all grew up with him, and you actually met him in person. So can you share a bit about that experience, or maybe share some insights with us?
I met him, I would say 3 or 4 times. Last time in Germany at the hotel room. He's a very, very friendly and kind person. And as you mentioned, he's the iconic drummer of Nirvana. And this happened exactly 30 years ago. We have some nostalgic anniversaries this year, 2021. You all might remember, I'm not sure about Sharon, you're a bit younger, but Fabian and Tilti, they will remember the year 1991, the summer of 91. The sound of Seattle, grunge exploded with 3 legendary albums that were released within only 1 month. So they came all out of the same city. actually all of the same neighborhood in Seattle. Pearl Jam with their debut 10 released in 1991 in August. Nirvana Nevermind released in September 91, and Soundgarden Bad Motorfinger released at the exact same day. So 3 albums unhinged the music world coming from the same circle of friends. That's in these days, it's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Great vintage, I would say.
Yeah.
When I'm not wrong, as far as I have read, also the Generation Z still streaming that music, right?
My son is playing it on the guitar. He's sitting next to us, and he's playing Nirvana and also Metallica and all that stuff on the guitar. And he's 12 years old.
It's the real stuff. Dominic, thank you very much. See you next time. That's it.
Yeah, I think so.